So for months, I know a lot of people in my life have been asking me, who is Bay? Because I've been talking about Bay for the longest time. And today, you will finally find out, because the cat is out of the bag. And trust me, Bay was worth the wait. So, welcome to the Champagne Empress Podcast. I'm your host, Georgette, and today's like a first of everything. However, this is your podcast for ambitious women who wants to embody and magnetize their power and love and beauty and to literally embody extraordinary love to create a life that is beyond your imagination. So, today is the debut of the Sunday brunch. This is going to be your before church, your after church. You could even call this church. Okay. So let's set the mood because I want you to light your candle. Like grab a glass of champagne. It doesn't matter where you are, what time it is. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. Today, I have you can't even see it. I have my sparkling water. So grab whatever you have and we're gonna start this. So let's talk about Bay. Okay. How did I meet Bay? Mm. So I walked to this event, okay? I have no business being at. I don't know anybody. And I see this woman and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So then I finally spoke to her maybe on the second or third day. I don't recall. So we spoke and I'm like, "Oh, I like her energy, right?" So then we didn't really talk after that. But then we ended up in the same mastermind. Okay. So the first months, we probably barely interacted. And then there was this in-person mastermind in Colorado. And that's when we really started feeling each other a little bit more. And I'm like, oh, I like this one. And the about it, before I even joined the mastermind, I put the intention out there that I wanted to find my tribe. And I didn't know in what way that it was going to come up. But here we are at this table, and this girl is literally seeing through me. And I have this huge resistance. And I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, no. So then after that we started talking more and then more and then more. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is my soulmate. Like, I'm like, I've been looking for soul sisters for whatever. And I'm like, this bae of mine becomes even like not even my husband to be will ever separate us. Like he will have second place. But she is an amazing woman. I have never seen such person who is full of um capacity to hold people. Like I always say, like, I don't know how you hold all these people together. You have the ability to hold. She can hold. She sees your soul. She can pose you into beautiful boudoir sessions, baby. Okay? She is one of a kind, a sister that I've been praying for. And now that I can't imagine my life without her. So I want you to introduce you to the love of my life, inseparable love. I want you to meet Bay. And Bay's name is Shay. So I'm going to let her talk about who she is and what she does because I can never find the word. I'll probably say she's just magical, right? And I want her to introduce herself and tell you guys like who she is and how she is so intuitive and how she creates magic for women. So, Bay, you have the floor. Tell us about you.
Oh, thank you. I know we've been talking about doing this for a while now, and finally.
Here we are.
I know. It finally manifested. So I'm an inner authority mentor and I'm a confidence photographer. So I work with women. It doesn't matter if it's with the photography or the mentoring. I've also incorporated energy work into what I do. And that's why people are like, you're just magic. I don't know how to describe you. You're just awesome. I'm like, okay. But ultimately, like, no matter what I'm doing, I want you to see more of who you actually are, not who you've been told to be, not who you've been shown to be, but that inner knowing and you navigating through life with the knowing of who you actually are and the power that you actually wield. Because everything else is an illusion. All the BS, limiting beliefs, the stories that you've been told that you're not good enough, worthy enough, beautiful enough. It's all lies. It's all an illusion. And I love leading people through experiences where they get to see that for themselves. Because until you see that for yourself, it's nice to hear, oh, you're beautiful, you're worthy, this, that, and the other. But until you have that inner knowing and it actually clicks, it's like you're proceeding through life and it's just like, I just don't get it. I don't know who I am. And so when you do have that knowing, it's like, oh, I can show up. I am this. I am that bitch. And proceed through life with that confidence and that certainty within self. That's a whole different vibe of a woman versus the woman that doesn't know who she is. It's like, ugh.
I love that you say that. So there's so many things that's coming through my head as you're speaking. And the first thing I want to ask is I do believe that women need to know who they are. So when a woman walks into your door and they're like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. How do you help them navigate into that process of identity, into finding their purpose, whether it is through confidence boudoir photos or like glamorous shots. I can't wait for spoiler guys. Okay. I'm going on a tangent right now. Or how do you help them navigate that identity when it comes to their personal life, whether through business, through love, through whatever it is? How do you navigate that so you could find that purpose, that identity with women who do not know?
So first, I feel like there has to be space created for them to even just take a breath and just acknowledge, hold on, who am I in this moment? Because we get so wrapped up in the hamster wheel, moving through life, going through the motions. It's almost autopilot. And some people think that they know who they are because of the past definition that they've given themselves. And then some people just don't know. Like maybe through partnership, we've lost ourselves, or motherhood, we've lost ourselves. And we have to remember that we're always evolving. So maybe I felt like I knew myself 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden I don't know who I am today because I've changed. And that's okay. But it's like, let me give you that space so you can see, oh, maybe I don't know. And that's okay to be in that space. But just with that acknowledgement, it's like, okay, now where do you want to go? And so whether that's through the photography or just chit chatting and different things come up, or the mentoring, still chatting, different things come up, different pivotal experiences, and it's shifting a lot of the time how we see them. And then it shifts how we see ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting because when we look back, okay, and we could say, oh my gosh, we've only known each other for, I don't even know, maybe 2 years now, a year and a half. I don't know right now. I don't even know. 2 years, 2 years. Oh my gosh, yes, it's April. So, oops, hold on, I put this mic back. See, this is how we have conversation. We're on like WhatsApp chat, like sending each other voice notes all day long. And the chats usually I guys, you sometimes you would have to be a fly on the wall. But so what I like to say is like we've known each other for about 2 years, right? And we have seen the change in identity and who we are. And the beautiful thing you said is you're not the same person that you were 2 years ago. And there's a process of at some point we have to let go of the person, the old one we knew, and
Mhm.
evolve into the new person. And we've seen each other go through that, which is such a beautiful process because sometimes I sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what I'm like if I'm supposed to be doing this anymore. And you feel the change all the time. And knowing you from 2 years ago is definitely not the woman you are today. So two things with that though. So when the process, especially for me, there was a time that it was really, really hard to go through that debt of the old version of me so I could have the capacity to actually show up into the new version. So, and you helped me through that process. And I'm sure you do it with your clients and and woman in your life. So I want to talk about that process. Like when someone like needs to let go of that old self so they could embrace the new identity because it shifts all the time. What is your advice when they are in that period, when they are in that what did I call it? The black hole? I forgot. The void. When you're in the void, okay? So how can you what advice do you have for women listening that feel like they are shedding an old identity? Maybe they went through a divorce and now they're recognizing, oh my gosh, I'm so much powerful right now. Or mom of how many children? It's like I've lost myself, but now I'm finding my voice again, but yet cannot grasp the new identity yet. So what's the piece of advice you would give them?
Give yourself time to spend with you and rediscover yourself. And don't think, oh, well, I haven't liked, I don't know, roller coasters for all my life. And so I don't like roller coasters. This reminds me of something for you. I can't remember what it was exactly. But it's like, maybe I do like roller coasters. Maybe this version of me likes roller coasters, but the passive version of me doesn't. Maybe like it can be small. You don't have to go on a roller coaster if you don't want to, but trying out different foods that you thought you didn't like, maybe try it in a different way. Like give yourself the time to explore. And that's giving yourself grace and love and compassion in the process of it. And give yourself time to just love on you. Like, so much of the time we are, like, trying to love on other people or give this to other people and hold space for other people, but we're not holding space for ourselves. And maybe you're not in a space where you can hold space for yourself. And so I hope that you have a community or some friends that you can turn to and just allow yourself to be and be held.
Yes. Having a community for sure is amazing because I know for me, I tend to do life. I'm okay doing life alone, okay? And that's a beautiful thing. It's like I love my life alone, but I didn't understand and realize how important a deep community when you find those people, like how so important it is to have in your life. So yes, if you don't have a community, I do suggest that you find your people, put the intention out there, and let them come to you because listen, they will not pass you by. So, um, oh my gosh,
It fell again. It's funny that it fell at that moment. I was like, "Oh, I remember what it was. It was patience." You were like, "I'm not a patient person." You're so patient, Shay. And then the past few months, you're like, "Oh, wait, I might be patient. Oh my god."
yeah, yes. And I think okay, so a few examples because I want to talk to about that because now it's like when I was shedding the old identity of who I was, there's so many things that were coming up. It's like the patience. I'm like, I'm not a patient person. My tolerance sometimes is very, very low. However, and when I understood that I was building a capacity for a woman to hold space for so many people, I realized I do have patience, right? And of course, we have some tools that we can use to regulate when we feel like F that. I want to, I want to F everyone. So we could regulate, so we could go back to the groundedness of who we are. And I know for sure too, there's another thing that I know we talked about, especially when it comes to dating. It's like, nope, I'm not doing this. Nope, this is not who I am. Nope, I am not gonna do that. And in order to let go of the old version is to, like Shay said, we have to give ourselves grace. We have to explore the new person. For example, I always like, no, I'm not gonna do coffee dates. I'm still not gonna do coffee dates, but I'll do a very, very high-end tea. But I'm very more open to the experience than just where am I going and who. And I'm very anchored in more into the energy of the person that's coming up. And I was so quick, and I think it relates to the patients too, so quick to like, next, like, you got how many kids? Goodbye. But yeah, so it's just when we are in that void, we have to explore. We have to understand, okay, is this actually for me or is this not for me? I used to say no to this version of me, but now the new version, what does it require of me? And we have to go in there and we have to explore all of who we are. And this is why I love being on the WhatsApp chat and chatting all day with you, because sometimes I go in I'm in my ego a lot, okay? But then I'm very quick to anchor back though. But I love playing both because I love being in my soft feminine and my dark femme. And I love going back in the ego. I'm like, uh-huh, this is what the ego will do. Let's go. Let's go. But we had to be able to anchor back and who I just can't. See, I told you we're just gonna laugh the entire episode, and I'm really trying to compose myself, um, etc., so we could have a nice chat before we just laugh all day. But I want you to know, okay, when it comes to friendship. So I think when we first met, okay, we were like instant thing. But I wanna know, I'm curious. I don't know if I ever asked you this, but when we first met, what was your impression? Like, who is this girl? What what was your intuitive hit when it came to this lioness? Because I never asked you.
We can find out all together.
Let's find out.
You were so well put together and so beautiful. Like when Georgette goes out, like she's dressed to the T. I just want to say head to toe, everything's thought about. Like nails, hair, lips, outfit, shoes. Nothing is lacking. And I'm like, I love that. And I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, I don't care. I can be like half put together. I don't know, I'm not looking like a complete slob, but it's just like I'll just throw something on. I'm like, well, whatever. But for you, it's so well thought out. I'm like, oh, I love this girl. And then like I'm sure I hugged you. I can't remember in this moment. I remember talking to you a little bit later. Um, but you just give off this like soft, feminine vibe. And later on in that mastermind that we both joined, we called it the Georgette effect. And that's what it is. It's like you tap into your inner knowing. I saw it in spurts before. I see it so much more now. But you tap into your inner knowing, into your own essence, and you proceed with that energy. And some people might get triggered by it. Some people might be like, she's a snob. It's like, no, it's that confidence just shining through, and you just radiate from the inside out.
Aw, thank you. Oh, babe. Oh,
I know. It's good moments. And I'm like, shifted so much and changed so much and transformed, and it's been an honor. I'm
And
like, we both have, just pinging off of one
so,
another, reflecting back and forth for one another, chit-chatting
yeah.
back and forth, and, like, I don't know what I would have done without you over these you weren't here with me these past 2 years.
Yeah, me neither, because we have gone through so much changes, the ups and the down, and it's like for from and it's like, you know what I love about our friendship? It's like we could talk about all the things. We go from talking about men's private parts to 5D section back to some 3D stuff. And then it's just and then sometimes all combine. And it's like nothing is ever strange. Like, oh yeah, astral travel here. I do light language there. And it's like, oh, cool, that's normal. Like, and that's what I love about it because when there is relationships that are based on evolving, there's no judgment in the process because it's like, okay, that's weird, but there's like no judgment in it. It passes through. And we have to, when it comes to community and friendships, we have to find people in our lives who actually can hold us this way. And of course, if you're one of the women that actually judge people, "Oh my gosh, she's not wearing the right shoes," or listen, I look at people's shoes, okay? But I don't dwell on it. I pass, I'm like, "Oh, not nice color," and then I move on, you know? So and I want us to have friendships that really anchor into truth, into I'm gonna be honest with you, like you always slap my face, like, wig the half off, and I'm like, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but and I want you guys to really anchor into that no judgment zone because when we enter the no judgment zone in friendship, relationship, like our life honestly it becomes so much happier and so much better. And people ask me, how do I stay young? I mind my business. And and I make sure that I don't dwell on things that are not that are pointless to me. And judging people is one of those things. So I love the beautiful friendship we have. So so yeah. But one thing that I love about you is when you talk about camera sometimes, you light up about lighting. Okay, guys, let me tell you. Let me put this. I can't wait to go to Shay's studio so she can literally photograph me. And when I say photograph, I want to be photographed in all aspect of who I am. And this is the one thing I talk about when it comes to your feminine embodiment. You are all the things. You are the soft feminine, you are the dark feminine. There's no one, you can't just be a soft. When you're just a soft feminine, you're not embodying your dark. You're not the whole divine. So, in order for you to be that divine self, you have to embody both. So, and what's beautiful about Shay's work is that she can capture someone in their softness, and then she can capture someone in their dark, badass, sensual self. And honestly, one of my favorite probably picture I have in my head is for me to be in a badass black latex something and be tied up in a rope or something. And to some people, it might sound very weird, like this is weird stuff. However, it is just a powerful stance into a side of your feminine and the power that comes through it. It's allowing yourself to actually see what do I actually enjoy? Like, how do I show up in that environment? Because you can't just say, well, this is who I am. Again, we talked about this. In order
Mhm.
for you to know who you are, you have to at least get out of your comfort zone to try something different. Let's just say I go and she tied me up and I'm like, listen, this is really not for me. The picture in my head was actually way better. but experiencing it might not be, but you have to allow yourself to
Mhm.
experience that. So, Shay,
Yes.
how do a woman come into your studio? Like, what's the process of finding their I want to be like soft, but and I want you to arch your back and I want you to hold this and I want you to do this. Like, what's that process experience like for the woman who walk into your world?
I already feel like they're coming out of their comfort zone just to take pictures like this a lot of the time. It's just like, I did it. I booked the session. I don't know. I just want to look good. And they don't realize that it's going to be a whole session of exploring who they are in this moment. So we can celebrate it, so we can capture it, so we can see it. And she's got something to look back on to remember. That's me.
Yeah.
And so I do pull out like the bondage and maybe some angel wings and maybe some satin sheets. And it just depends. Like when they come in and I give them a hug, I feel into their energy. I ask them maybe a few questions, whatever comes to mind that day, because I don't pick out their outfits until I see them in person because maybe when I talk to them a month before their session, they're in one vibe, and then they're in a completely different vibe when they come in. So it's based on that day, you in that moment, whoever you are. And we get to leave all the labels behind: partner, mom, sister, whoever, entrepreneur. Cool. We get to leave those at the door, and all the standards and expectations that those labels hold, we leave them at the door. And it's like you get to be tended to and pampered with hair and makeup and all of that. So it's just like the guard starts to fall down a little bit. And then we get to move in to the space where I get to show you your outfits. And sometimes I get that resistance and it's like, I don't know if that will work for me. And I'm like, just trust me. If it doesn't work, we'll take it off. It's
Yeah.
that simple. We're just going to be open. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is a color I never would have picked for myself. Or, oh my goodness, this is a outfit that I never would have like even seen that would have looked good on me. I'm like, only a few years experience doing this. It's all good. But usually I can tell, like, I want to say 95% of the time, like, I'm like spot on.
Yeah.
And then we go into the shoot, and it's like I talk to them and I'm setting them up in their position. Like, put your arm like this. And they're like, I'm not comfortable. And I'm like, it's fine. It's you coming out of your shell.
Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable, but then I show them the image after the fact, and they're like, that's what I look like. Oh my gosh, I look so good. And I'm like, absolutely.
Love that.
Of course. But it gets to be an easeful process.
Yeah.
Like you get to be talked to and loved on and hugged on. It's a really intimate experience. So different things can come up, different traumas can come up. And that's where me holding space for other people also comes in. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because, different traumas, assaults, you know, different relationships with our own bodies.
Yes.
It can be a lot. People like cry, and it's okay. And it gets to be a fun process. They get to come out of their shell. They get to, oh, I never would have thought of that, but I'm game if you think it looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. They get to soften and be held when a lot of the time with how our society is, we have to lean into our masculine and we got to be a little bit more rigid.
Yes. And I think that's a beautiful thing because the question I was going to ask is how do you feel the intuitive piece of who you are and what you do connects with with Laura the photography aspect. And you said it beautifully. You get to show up in that space and hold them. And because oh ladies, like more than an amazing photographer and boudoir things, like Shay is like the most intuitive person I've ever met. Let's not talk about the time from today. That's prime example.
So we're supposed to record this at one time, and I had put it in my calendar for another time. What time did we actually start recording this? The time I put it into my calendar. I was like, "You're fine. Just slow down. Enjoy yourself. Don't scarf down your food."
I was like, I need I need that. She's like, oh well, that's the time that was in the calendar. I'm like, oh, what my face? I'm like, why are you this way? Like, I can't even come and say things because she's an intuitive person. And the thing about it, this is the beautiful part of working with you when it comes to the intuitive side. Because when it comes to, let's just say, the confidence of boudoir, you let your clients explore that intuitive side of who they are. And we go with the flow. The experience of it all happens here. So, yes, we could plan, but we allow the intuitive to lead. And how did you, when you first find out you were that intuitive. So to then let that surrender to that aspect of who you are and let it lead the life instead of like staying back in the masculine and saying, nope, this is not what it is. And how did you grow to trust it? So if women are going to that, I want to trust my intuition. I want to be able to tap into that part of me more. How do you feel that was your first step into recognizing that about who you are?
I don't know if you've heard this story or not.
Let's see. We talk about so many things. I have no idea what story I've heard.
It's so funny. I wasn't looking to open up my intuitive gifts or anything like that, but I definitely had leaned into my masculine way too hard, and I was in burnout with my own business. I love what I do. So I was like, how can you be burnt out on something you love? Learned that the hard way.
Wow, I know.
And it was a lot of things going on at home, having a partner, having, the kids were a little bit smaller then. Um, and then having a thriving business that was just like, it just really took off really quickly, especially when I started specializing in boudoir. And I was like, something's got to change. I am so exhausted personally, exhausted professionally. This is not it. All I knew was something needed to change. So maybe you ladies are in a place like that. And I had actually went to a retreat and I was like, oh, this lady is going to be able to help me. I think I trust her. I was like, cool. I've seen her in action. We started working together and we started healing some of my like past traumas, relationship with myself, how I saw myself. And then little by little, I was like, I started to sense auras. Actually, my youngest, Joya, she hugged me and I was like, purple? What is this? And I messaged my mentor, I was like, what is going on? She's like, oh, I think you can sense auras. And then we used to play games. So it was like really lighthearted. We don't want to put any pressure on ourselves. And then through me healing different things, it was like opening up more and more and more. And then I started to get visions. And then I saw that that had to be incorporated in my work. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, if you know me, I've got a finance degree. I've got an MBA with a specialization in project management. I am very like logical, analytical, like I do believe that there's amazing things, fascinating things out in the world out there that we don't understand. But I was like, I have to put myself out there and be like, not only do I believe in those things openly, but like, hey, I can see visions, I can see your aura, I can tap into your energy and see what's going on, the things that maybe you're not saying.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And for a lot of people listening, they might feel like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't I've seen that, but I can't tell anybody because they'll think that I'm crazy, that I'm weird, that I'm whatever." So what's your advice for someone who's in that position? Like, how would you say um they take the next step and let fear out the window when it comes to really embodying who they are? Because the embodiment of who you are is the most important thing in life. You have to show up true to yourself because one thing I always say is when I die, would people say they love me for who I was not? Or would they say they love me for who I was truly? So I want you to ponder on that. So I want you to show up and who that is. So, how can someone navigate that process of, okay, now I see this. Now I feel like I'm embodying a little piece of me. Now, how can I go out in the world and just like be seen with that?
Oh, it's scary. I am not gonna lie to you. But I bet if you're feeling that internally, I bet you are getting messages in some fashion, way, externally or internally, um, little invitations to show up as your truest self. And are you? And if you are not, how are you feeling? Because after a while, it gets to be a nagging feeling. And it's because you're self abandoning. And so, do you want to sit with the truth of you're abandoning yourself and choosing other people? Or do you want to sit with I'm choosing myself and however other people feel is how they feel because you can't control it anyways? So that's a big, big thing. But I know working through the fear, it's like the fear is just going to be there. It just is what it is. It's okay to have the fear. That's what some people are like, almost feel shameful sometimes because they're feeling fear. Fear is normal. It's, are you going to allow the fear to be bigger than you, to have a hold on you, to chain you down in such a way that you got dis-ease in your own self?
Yeah. And you said it wonderfully because fear is always going to be present in everything we do. Okay. Sometimes the fear is bigger based on of the bigger risks we're taking.
Mhm.
But we also have to understand it is a passing emotion. It's like, oh, I'm afraid of whatever it is, right? It's like I'm happy, I'm excited. And then you get to have, ooh, I'm afraid. You get to feel it in your body and say, I know my purpose. I know why I'm here. Therefore, I'm regardless of the emotion that's coming up, the feeling that's happening, I'm gonna show up and follow that mission regardless. Because when you follow the path, and we have seen it so many times, we have seen how we were divinely guided into the next step, and we had no clue of how it was going to happen and etc. Afraid of the maybes and so we have to be able to take that leap not knowing, and love and business and all the thing, especially we talk a lot about love in this podcast because people are afraid to fall in love. People are afraid to get hurt. And we know the past memory, the body holds memories of the past, of the hurt that we experienced, of the things that went on in our past relationship. And we don't want to experience it again. But we're also blocking the opposite. Okay. We experience one side. We need to be able to experience the contrast because life is all about that. It's like, I showed you I showed you this. So there's no way you're going to experience this again. I want you to be able to see the other side of it, the light, the peace, the freedom. So when we stay in the fear, we don't get to explore who we are. We don't get to experience life. We get stuck into that box and we're just there, just existing, basically. It's like we're not living, we're just, blah, I don't know what's happening.
We're stuck in the void that you talked about.
Yes, yes, exactly. We're just stuck in the void, not understanding the void is just to pass through. It's not to stay. It's like recognizing, okay, I'm in a void right now. You acknowledge the void, but also you don't stay there. You don't let the vacuum, I don't know, it's just coming out. It's like the vacuum that's pulling you in. You don't let it suck you in. You're like, oh, I see the vacuum. Okay, I see the darkness. I see the fear. Okay, cool. We're here. We're passing through. And then you let yourself be guided into what's supposed to happen. Because ooh, what's on the other side is wonderful. Wonderful. And
Exactly.
yeah.
And what people don't realize, they're like, "Oh my god, the void." And we're afraid because it's dark.
Mhm.
It seems dark, but we don't know what to do. We don't know where to go, even though there's this little voice, there's this little light, and it's trying to guide you, just what you were saying. And I want to say, it's not even just like you're just in this space and you're just being pulled somewhere where you don't know, you can't have any sort of control. That's a space, there's infinite possibilities there. What are you choosing? And if you don't know how to choose that, choose yourself.
Oh, that's always gonna be my number one thing is choose yourself. Choose for you. And that's the thing, right? People think, oh my gosh, it's so selfish. And they tell you all the time when the plane is crashing, you have to like put your mask on first so you can help someone. And it's the same concept. And I know it's hard, especially as moms, right? It's so hard to picture. I'm going to put my mask on first and then let my child die. But here's the problem, they're trying to put the child's mask on. You don't know, you can't breathe, and they can't help themselves yet. So you're missing. You probably don't even know where you're putting it. While you're putting your mask on first, you have all the energy. You could see clearly. So you go straight, it takes you like 5 seconds to put theirs on. Instead of you struggling, now you could do both, right? You put yours, then you put theirs. Both survive. And then when you're trying to put theirs first, it's kind of like walking into a uphill mountain, right? No oxygen, blind, and it's like the blind leading the blind. So it's like you have no clue. So then one might survive versus both. So and it's a really hard concept to grasp sometimes because I was there. I was like, there's no way my kid comes first. But the moment I realized if I don't show up for myself first, I cannot show up fully for my kid. And we could say, oh, having kids is a sacrifice or whatever. Yes, it is. But when I replenish myself, my kid gets the best side of me. I don't show up in resentment. I don't show up and I'm tired. I don't show up in tomorrow. I mean, sometimes like I'm tired tomorrow, right? But the quality time we get to spend get to be so much more powerful than if I was depleted because I was giving all the energy to my spouse, to my kids, to my friendship. We have to acknowledge that honestly, we are the star of the movie. Oops. Look at this. Just
I know
like
your light went out. You were like, "We are the
right.
star."
My light went out. This died, but whatever. We're gonna continue using natural light. Uh we got you see this is what it is. It's like the mission continues. It doesn't stop. We keep going. And then next time we charge the battery to full.
Exactly. It's totally fine. And I know some people might be like, "I still show up for my kid when I'm exhausted, this, that, and other." And I'm like, "I will never take that away from you."
Yeah.
As a woman, I feel like we go to the depths of who we are, and if there's one drop left, we like extend it out like nobody else's business. I l- I love women for that.
Yeah.
And I also want them to choose themselves and show up from a place of overflow, or even the preferred would be overflow, but like half full. That version of you and the version of you that's showing up with one drop, those are two different people.
Yes.
And if you're showing up from overflow, that's a whole different person. And
Yeah.
so you are depriving yourself and everybody else that gets to experience you from that experience.
Yes. I agree. And I think, since we're talking about this, because for me, it's like it's a no-brainer for me, right? And a lot of people can't see it. But can you like provide like little examples of what women can do to actually, even if they can't go full on full cup overflow, but how can at least they show up in a different way and at least half full? Like there's little practical thing we can do. So, in your perspective, what would you say women can show up as when they're full or half full?
Okay. So here's a couple of things. What do you actually like? For me, I love my hot coffee first thing in the morning. I feel like it touches my soul. So
Go ahead.
if I can set aside, okay, making my coffee, maybe I'm tending to this thing over here, but when that coffee is done and I got it ready, I'm having 2 minutes by myself because I have talked to some women that have some smaller children. I get it. I've been there. My kids are like not even 3 years apart. Like I got you. And maybe even just going outside in the sun and taking some deep belly breaths that will calm the nervous system. You're soaking up some sun, you get some vitamin D. Like, uh, okay, just be with yourself in that moment. And maybe even like feel on your heart, feel on yourself. When was the last time you gave yourself a hug? Give
Yeah.
yourself a hug. You hug everybody else.
Yeah.
Into yourself. Maybe even get your nails done. If that literally makes you happy all day, all week when it's lasting, how long does that actually take? Just paint them real quick. You don't have to go to the nail salon. I mean, if you have the opportunity to, go. But if you don't, get a nail polish that is going to make you happy. And then whenever you see your nails, you're like, you're smiling to yourself. It's those little things that add up and people don't give them credit. They're like, oh, no, that's small.
Yeah.
Or I just don't have time for that. I'm like, you don't have. We'll just say 30 seconds to breathe deeply into your belly. I
Yeah.
think you might. You can bring them kids outside. They need some sun too. Be like, you know what? We're going to breathe.
Yes.
We're going to breathe together. And sometimes when they're super tiny, sometimes that's what you got to do. But it's like you're also doing something for yourself that is pouring into you in that moment.
Yes. And I think that's the beautiful thing because time. We always hear, I don't have time.
Yes, you do. It's
And
not a priority for you in that moment.
that's
That's what I want to say.
exactly what it is. It's funny because I was talking to a friend this morning and we trying to go to the gym. And she's like, oh, I have things to do. And I said, we all have things to do. If it is a priority, you will reschedule a few things. For me, it's like when I know my day's full, I wake up at 5:30. I never like me. Like me personally, I would rather be in bed at 9. I don't want to wake up at 5:30, but it is a priority for me. So it is a way to pour into myself. So it happens. I get it done. So then what happens then? I feel this energy. So then when I'm full in meetings, I get to be happy. I get to pour into my couples. I get to pour into people in my life because I already filled my cup and I made time for it. I could say I don't have time, but I maybe I don't watch another episode of Netflix, right? So I could go to sleep earlier so I could wake up. So we have to stop making excuses. And listen, I know, like, and the thing about it too, the priorities change.
Hmm.
When the kiddo was younger, like I have a full 2 hours to go in the sauna before and after the gym. No, I dragged him to the gym, put him in a gym daycare, and, and I worked out. But I couldn't stay that long. So you had to find what works for you in the moment you are in your life. And even the small thing as a shower, for me, it's like I mean, I love the whole shower process. Like, if we want to talk about shower process, we could. Like, but even that little moment, you let the water run. If you have a scrub, buy like amazing scent to scrub your body just so you could feel like an empress in that shower for the amount of time. It could be 10 minutes or you could spend 30 minutes, whatever. But you could make your shower like feel like a spa. So I love buying the leaves with lavender. I forgot the name of it, but I hang it in there and then the steam of the shower makes it smell like a spa. So those little things, it's really replenishing my cup. and and something that I normally have to do anyways, right? So it's not taking time away from me, but I make the shower special. So I want you to, whatever it is that you already do, make it special. If you feel like I really don't have time, like you sleep, right? Sleep in nice pajamas, or like sleep in nice lingerie. You're already sleeping anyways. So do that. So you're gonna see how your energy shift because you're pouring something in your body. And but yeah, you have to prioritize yourself, ladies, ladies, ladies.
Yes, and I love that you said the things that you're already doing. They might be doing it in a rush. Be present. How many seconds more is it going to take you? Something that takes you 30 seconds, is it going to take you 15 more seconds to actually be present and actually like, oh, let me feel this lotion on my face. Let me put it on my body and just like be present and actually like feel your fingers running down your skin. You being with yourself versus like, oh my God, I got to slap this on. And like, no, we don't want to do it in that way. Sometimes it's not about checking the box, it's the energy in which you check it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what it is as mom that we're doing too? We're teaching our children that we are a priority too. Okay. So there's going to be a time where it's because I tell my kid, no, not now. I need 5 minutes. Okay. Come back in 5 minutes. You have to let them know you prioritizing your peace as well. I don't have to answer your question right now. It's not a 911 because if it's not a 911, you're not
911 to them.
so I'm like, I need 5 minutes. And then you ask them for that. And you're going to see how communication down the line will flow instead of like stopping whatever you're doing. So you could answer if they should have yogurt, if they should have ice cream, or mom, 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 right? Mom needs 5 minutes. And start practicing that with your kids so they know 5 minutes and then they leave you alone. You get to breathe. Like the breath is really, really important. Like I do this in the sauna. I do this driving. I do this, especially driving.
Road rage.
Yeah. Driving and I. Woo. Um, so yeah, so those are the little things that I would say you could do to prioritize yourself. It doesn't have to be a whole dramatic thing. It could be, absolutely. But you can start small. But I want you guys to really prioritize yourself when it comes to self-care, replenishing your cup, being a mom, being a business owner, whatever that looks like, being a wife with no kids, right? That takes time. So I want you to be able to prioritize who you are. And I always say before you enter a relationship, you were your whole self before you entered. Before you were a mom, you were your whole self. Now it's again adapting to a new identity. So how do I still show up for me while I'm attached to someone else? So, and then discover that and allow yourself to have those moments of just me. So, but yeah. Yeah, yeah. Whew. That's yeah, that's a lot. I feel like we've been talking for a while and I still had like some questions. Listen, my notes.
I'll be back.
I feel like it's never enough. Like, we could chat all day, and then I know you always say, like, if we live closer to each other, because listen, we're doing this long distance, and I was not made for long distance relationships, especially when it's like she's cooking and I'm like, "Where's my food?" Like, "Don't send me this picture." Like, what am I gonna do with that? Like, so and so it's like this long distance that we're doing, it's like if we were next to each other, guys, we would probably it would be game over. Game over. And yeah, so but one thing I want to know though, it's when it comes to being in your feminine, okay? How did you So how did the concept of maybe I was in my masculine going to maybe I need to be in my feminine, how did that whole concept came about for you in terms of now discovering there is a name for masculine and there's a name for the feminine, right? Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm masculine, feminine. And I think we always go back into what society deems as masculine and feminine, right? And it really has nothing to do with the gender roles. It really has to do with the energy behind the things we do and how we show up in doing that. So, in terms of your life, when did you first discover that you were being your masculine and did you even have a word for it? And how did you decided to soften more into your feminine?
I think that goes back to the burnout because the masculine energy is the do, the logic, structure, and it's needed. Absolutely. That's how things get done. They're thought out. Amazing. And then that feminine energy, though, is like that go with the flow. You're trusting, you're sitting with your intuition. That energy right there, I'm like, oh, I get to just like ease. That's what it feels like to me. More easeful versus like leaning all the way into the masculine can be a little bit rigid. And what happens to a plant that's like too rigid? Like it can snap. What are you going to do? And that's what happens. And I know there's so many people in burnout, and I didn't know masculine and feminine energy then. It's like, I'm tired and
Yeah.
you don't know what to do. It's because I was lost in like autopilot on the hamster wheel, the that hustle. And I know so oftentimes it is like, work harder, work harder. Like you work yourself into the ground. Like, absolutely. Is there work to be done? Yes. And what energy am I doing it? And am I doing it to the point of self-detriment? That's when it's taking it too far. Because we need the masculine energy in ourselves and, in society. Like we need the feminine energy within selves and in society. There's a time and a place. But like, for instance, my boudoir sessions, there's a time that they start. They're 5 to 6 hours long. I have a process. That to me is more like my masculine energy. There's a price. Like they're well thought out. I've seen what my expenses are. Okay, cool. Because if I just slap some kind of price on it with my little feminine energy. I love her. That's not gonna work. It's maybe my expenses end up being more.
Yeah.
But through the process, it's like I get to flow. Like nothing's really planned. Like I have no outfits planned. I don't know what my makeup artist is really gonna do. It just depends in that moment. And there's enough structure, but it's not so rigid that I get to flow and the intuitiveness gets to shine through. And we
Yeah.
get to create magic that way.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And I think for women who are now starting to understand a little bit more masculine and feminine energy, um, one thing you have to understand is you need both. There's not one way or the other because I think it's almost like the what we see in society right now, the patriarchy took over and the like very male centered. And then now the matriarchy wants to take over. And I feel like we're gonna be in a matriarchal world for a while. But then we had to come back to center. Center understanding that we need both energies in our life in order for it to flow seamlessly. When we're looking for the right partner, we need to understand that we need him to thrive in his masculine energy and for us to thrive in our feminine energy. However, we do have he has feminine energy as well and you have masculine energy that we had to allow to thrive because here's the thing, it's like you said, we could like the feminine energy, listen, I'm I get downloads every 5 minutes. My managing self is unstoppable when it comes to ideas. Okay. However, if I don't anchor back to the masculine side of who I am, nothing gets done. I'm just going to be a walking idea. Okay. It's like, oh, I had this idea yesterday. Oh, another idea. But none of it get executed if I do not anchor in the masculine part of who I am. So the perfect thing is, I feel like, is the balance between both. You
Yeah.
have to be able to flow, when to flow. It's like, ooh, I need to work on a proposal right now. So I'm gonna work, I'm gonna focus and get it done. And if I feel like I'm too rigid and I need to flow a little bit, I could play some music and I could dance a little bit, right? So it allows me to balance and I'm not too far in the masculine that I'm so rigid. And then I'm not too in the I'm dancing and I'm being in the moment that I'm not getting the proposal done either.
For
Right?
me, it's like you start out in your being, and to me, for me, that's your feminine energy. And then it's like from there, you might get the download, you might get the nudge. Oh, I want to go here. I want to create this. Awesome. We're going to go to that. It's like a dance, the masculine energy. And we're going to set some things up and get some things in place and do the work that so we can execute.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we get to go back to the feminine and see how the intuitiveness wants to flow because I bet every little detail is not planned out to the T. There's a little bit of wiggle room in there so some magic can be weaved in.
Yes. And that's the way it works. And I feel like when it comes to dating, though, it's mostly how we see it is like, I feel like I want to go there. And then the husband or the partner comes, ooh, let me get it done for you. Let me execute for you. And then they are so happy executing what we desire because it's like this dance between the feminine and the masculine. And then we come back, oh honey, I love it so much. Thank you. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so appreciated. Like, oh my woman, I'm gonna do anything for you. And you're like, oh my man, so it's like it never feels like when you're in this kind of relationship, it never feels like it's a one-sided because a
Mhm.
lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna do this. What is the woman bringing to the table? What is he doing for me?" And it's never a relationship of what is someone is doing for us. It's really how our energies get to flow in one another, and everybody's full, and everybody also has the autonomy of who they are, right? So I love this. So I have to ask, have you experienced this kind of synergy in your relationships?
That's a good question. I think I thought I did, and looking back, I'm like, ooh, there was too much of me. I'm taking accountability here, self-abandoning. Like to be like, oh my goodness, this is my partner and I want to do these things for you. But it was like kind of almost to my own detriment. I was like, ooh, but I haven't been in that perfectly like balanced synergy place, especially with as much as I know and how conscious I am and so aware right now. And with all of that coming to my awareness, I'm open to it.
Yeah. I love that. And I know, and we talk about it. And yeah, we talk about it so much. And it's something that I see you experiencing all the time, right? And it's just so important because we self-abandon so much, and we have to take the accountability. And
Mhm.
I have done that in relation. What do you like? What do you need? Doing things I didn't care about. And it's like just for the sake of pleasing. And it's like we can please, but still show up in our authority and say, oh, I love you, honey. I would love to watch football with you. But I'm not, you do it in a way that honors you and honor your partner.
Mhm.
So you don't ever have to self-abandon it again. So then you lose yourself. So in order for that synergy, sometimes you're gonna have to do things that you don't want to do. But then how do you show up in that moment? Like I could care less about watching a football game ever in my life. But if but how do I still show up and support someone in that? It's really just being me. I love dressing, so I will self-express, you know? I'll probably like match little bows and whatever. So then I could show up while he enjoys the game itself. I probably host, I probably enjoy my shoes, whatever. But we're together in that same space honoring who we are. So, and I think like as you mentioned, because for me, I've had glimpse of it. You know, it's like, and also for me, it's like always knowing. It's like a beautiful and you could say a beautiful thing, and sometimes it could feel like a little curse. It's like knowing that, oh my gosh, I'm gonna experience this relationship, and I know it's gonna end, right? And then sometimes you find that amazing synergy in one specific area, but not the whole thing, you know, consciously your soul was here to experience. So when that happens, what we usually talk about is the universe is here to guide you into your ultimate person. There's something you're going to learn in one person and you're gonna be like, "Ooh, I've experienced that." And then you get to take that into the next person. And then the next person might be a whole sexual awakening. One might be a whole boundary situation. So then when your person is there, in order to have that full synergy, you already okay, I know how to stand in my boundaries. I know how to really love my body and not hide any curve because of the sake of, oh my gosh, I wonder if he's gonna like me. No. And all the other things that we get to learn from past relationships, because honestly, I like to say, instead of saying that was a bad relationship, I want to flip it and say, what did I learn? Like,
Mhm.
how can I grow from the lesson that took with it? Whoa, that was an expensive lesson. Whoa, that lesson like literally took my heart out. But what was my part in it? How can I take self-responsibility? So when that ultimate love shows up, I know how to respond, especially how to receive it, right? So that's one of the things I feel like a lot of women lack when it comes to that. It's like we go to experiences, but it's like, but are you still open? Are you
Mhm.
still open to like receiving? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think for me, it's like I'm getting that synergy within first. And
Yes.
I think for you as well, it's
Yes.
like, yes, we had all these different experiences, different things are coming to your awareness. Did you get the lesson and the gift out of this relationship? It wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
There were some beautiful lessons reflected back to you.
Yeah.
And through that, you get to see who you are.
Yes.
You get to decide how do I want to move? Who do I want to be? Sweet. Cool. Thank you. And like I'm appreciative of my relationships. Each one. Friendships, romantic relationships, they've all taught me something.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And we get to keep learning and growing. And I want that for all of you women listening, because all the relationship are gonna teach you how to soften, how to harden, but where you take responsibility is, how do I get to show up? How do I desire to show up no matter what happens in my life? I'm taking responsibility right now to understand that I was meant to thrive regardless of all the past thing that I've experienced, that I was meant to open and love regardless of how many heartbreaks that I've went. And also is, I want to go deeper into my intuitiveness so I can show up and know boundaries and know my discernment. So when someone comes to me and say, I want to marry you, and I'm like, oh my God, you have to be able to discern, is that person actually the right person for you? Because we fall so much into the I'm being chosen that we forget to actually check in within our body if this connection is actually the right connection. So then we marry and are like, oh my gosh, that was the biggest thing. I shouldn't have done that. But I want you guys to dive deeper into exploring your new identity. Stay in the void, get out of the void. Don't be afraid of the void. Like, take risks. Like, like lead with self-devotion and whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life. So yeah. So before we go, I want to ask you this question. Um so what do you want every woman listening to right now to know about herself? Like, what can she do to just thrive? Like, what would you want them to tap into?
It's funny. I was already thinking about this a little bit, and it really does come down to choosing themselves and honoring themselves. What you were saying, self-devotion. And when something's being presented to them, a choice, oh, okay, well, maybe there's A and B. Which one honors me? Which one reflects me choosing myself? And I know that can be like, oh, okay, she's telling me to choose myself. What the heck? But no, no one knows you better than you. You have to sit down and do the work to be present with yourself, to explore yourself, to learn yourself of who you are right now, so that you can choose yourself as this version of yourself, not the past version, and not what anybody else external voices might be telling you is the right choice for choosing yourself. Sit with yourself. I know it's like, ugh, but the more you sit with yourself, the more you get used to you. You feel your own energy. You are like, oh, that's me. That's the right choice. And it doesn't take as long. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the easier it's going to be to pick up that 10-pound weight. The first time you're doing like rep after rep after rep, and it's like, oh my God, my arm. It might be painful. It might feel uncomfortable. It's okay. Allow that to be okay. It's okay. But sit with yourself. See, check in, and explore yourself right now and choose from that space. And just know there's no right, there's no wrong. There's just always information. It's like, ooh, okay, that didn't get me the result that I wanted. Or I actually don't think that that was the choice that actually reflected that I honor myself and that I was choosing myself. Okay, so great. Moving forward, you know that information. There is no, oh my gosh, I'm so, what's wrong with me? I'm so dumb. No, we're not doing that. Wait, we got the information and we're going to proceed knowing what we chose in the past. We had all these beautiful different lessons and experiences. And just what I was saying before, you're so powerful. What do you want to create? How do you want to choose yourself? And that's what I want to leave everybody with.
I love that. So, ladies, I hope you had your journal, your notebook, taking notes because let's go. Um, like this is the moment that we get to change. We get to make the choice
Mhm.
of the next chapter of who we get to become. So this is gonna happen every Sunday. Well, every episode is gonna drop every Wednesday normally, but the Sunday brunch is Sundays where we get to have conversation. We don't know where it's gonna take us, what we're gonna do, how it's gonna end up. It's just gonna be right. And honestly, this is like a very natural flow for me. But before we really end, Shay, where can women find you? And how can they work with you? Do you have anything coming up that you want to share with us? Let us know.
So you can find me on the pernacollective.com. And I do have things coming up. I'm super excited. I'm doing Unleashing Her for the 4th round on the 20th. And also, I'm doing a retreat in October in Georgia, and it's going to be 4 days. It's going to be amazing. I feel like themes of unleashing her is like dropping all of the expectations and the societal standards and this, that, and the other, and coming back to self, realizing your own power. It is 14 days of me being in there, going through different things. You can bring your own situations. It is me doing energy work in there, um, me giving you tools. It's a very active community. I know Georgette was in there the last round.
Yeah,
Well,
and I can tell you, ladies, like, it was wonderful. It was wonderful, uh, um and the beautiful thing about it when it comes to, because I was gonna ask you, can you explain a little bit more of what unleashing her is? But it's literally what it says. It's unleashing her. You get to unleash who you are. And here's the thing, right? Everyone in that group showed up as who they were. It didn't have to be, you had to show up this way, etc. I showed up and when I needed to show up. Other people showed up every single day, and not everything is okay to do. And the energy work that dropped, let me tell you, you're gonna need water after it. You're gonna need to sleep after. Like they're so powerful. Like it's just so much happening and things that are coming into your consciousness and like, oh my gosh, something just happened. I need to think about this a little bit more. Um, this thing happened when you're in Shay's container. And I'm so happy for any of you who is gonna join it. I'm gonna put the stuff in the show note so you could explore that option for you. And then the retreat, I'm so excited because again, this is something you're so good in person, Shay. Like the energy that exudes through the Zoom that I'm pretty sure you're all looking at, you're like, oh my gosh, but imagine having that in person. It's something that is it's unexplainable. And then her hugs, like even if you go just for a hug, you'll probably get your money's worth.
that's funny. It's gonna be a good time. It's 4 days. It's not like the schedule is not rigid. I don't like rigidity. I like flexibility. There's gonna be beautiful conversations. I'm gonna be talking about things that are looping in your mind, maybe certain cycles and patterns you're finding yourself in. We want to illuminate those things because without them coming to light, how can you change? How can you choose differently? And there's going to be breath work and yoga and sound healing. And then on the last day, I'm going to be taking pictures of everybody. So there's only 5 spots. That way it's super intimate. It doesn't feel like you're going to get lost in the crowd. Um, the meals are going to be provided for. We're all going to be in an Airbnb that's absolutely gorgeous. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's close to the beach. It's going to be awesome.
I love that. I'm excited for you. Ah, Georgia, it's gonna be amazing, because your work is fantastic um, and especially the meals, chef's kiss. It's an experience.
Yes, the whole thing.
Yes. But anyways, ladies, this was our first Sunday brunch. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for a better first guest. Like my first guest, first time on video, like come on, like it was meant to be. So Shay, thank you so much for showing up, for being open and reminding every woman listening what will sisterhood really feels like, and also how to really dive into your intuitiveness and the experience of being confident as a woman. And I think that's what we thrive for, into showing women how to truly be who they are in their own body, in their own life, and how to show up for themselves. So so yeah, so empresses, if this conversation sparkled something inside of you, I want you to share it everywhere. Apple, wherever you're listening from, leave a review. And of course, new episodes drops every Sunday. So stay tuned. And I'm so excited to have this with you. Continue to bring yourself and listen to conversations that are going to go deeper as we continue. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have Shay back again. So, um, any last word you want to tell the audience, Shay?
Know that you're special just as you are, and what's being shown to you, or there's invitations for you, is to see who you truly are at your essence and the powerfulness that you hold within you.
Yes, I love that. And I can't wait to see you all blossom. In the meantime, don't forget to listen every Wednesday and every Sunday now. So cheers. Cheers to that. I love you, Empresses. Ciao.